come back. I have some leeway in my time today, so I'm trying to go over. I got, as you see, topics. People giving me topics I have. And the topic I want to talk about now is saying no with no excuses. I know they'll be like, oh boy. And the reason why it's an oh boy, because many of us do. Many of us, we feel if we say no to something, we have to give an excuse for it. And maybe it started when we was younger. Maybe that's the time we grew up in. Maybe that's how the family rolled. I don't know. But nevertheless, this day and time, we have to knuckle it down because it's more people who have a false sense of entitlement because they believe that, okay, you've been doing this for me, why you cutting it off? And that's one of the problems that we have. We'll do something for somebody, and we do it for such a great period of time that not only do they feel a false sense of entitlement, feel like this is something we're supposed to continue to do, but we'll start feeling entitled to having to do it and feeling guilty when we don't. So the thing is this, and the Bible even says it, make your election sure. Yes, no, don't leave that maybe, don't leave that opening. If you can't give give a straight answer, like if you don't know what you want to do, you can say, well, let me get back to you. But most of the time it's good to say, can't do that right now. And they might say, oh, I don't mean right now. They say, well, right now I can't, come at me another time, or just know it all. But one thing I've said, not know it all, but know at all, okay. But one thing I've learned is to say no, and that's it. And if somebody say, well, why, then you tell them why. But if somebody say, well, look, can you give me a ride? And I don't know, well, not really. No, I can't because, I got this thing I got to go to, and my time is limited. No, it's just no. And sometimes people gonna look at you crazy because they're not used to hearing no without it being explained. But that's the way this world goes. You ask a question, you get an answer. Can I get a ride? Most of the time, I'm always offering rides anyway, so that's no big deal. But there are some people that I've learned that I had to say no to because some people take advantage of the situation. So when somebody asks you for something, make sure that you don't put yourself in a situation that you're going to regret later. If you really want to say no, say no. Don't say, well, maybe, let me think about it, and don't call a person back. Because one of the commandments that says, let me get it right, in the prayer, when it says, forgive me my debts as I forgive my debtors, it's not just talking about money, it's talking about any debt. So if you tell somebody, I'm going to do something, when you know you don't really want to do it, and then what you do, you tell them that, then all of a sudden you avoid them, and you don't say nothing, you don't pick them up, you don't get back to them, that's a debt. That's a debt that you didn't pay. That's a debt that you owe. So you have to ask forgiveness for that. So what it comes down to is this. Get that boldness in you. If somebody asks you something and your answer, you want to say no, say no. If you want to say yes, say yes. But always know that there's consequences to continuously saying yes, just like there are consequences to continuously saying no. One of the consequences of continually saying yes is that somebody will keep coming back. The thing about saying no continuously is that the person is not going to keep coming back. So again, we at this day and age where we can do this. We can say no, and that's it. So leave it at that. Make sure, let's assure, keep it to the biblical side of things, and keep yourself safe. That way you don't have to worry about the headache, the heartache, the frustration. And remember, grown people don't supposed to be your dependent unless they have a disability, unless they're maybe, like some kind of disability or some kind of disorder where you have to help them. But a healthy person, they don't supposed to be, your dependent. So again, learn to say no. Don't be afraid to say no, and realize you don't have to give an excuse. All right? Take it easy. Bye.
I want you to know that